Hello, team, and welcome to episode 45. It's not what you say, but when you say it. And, team, I think most people will have had this experience of saying or doing something at the wrong time, and we should have done that differently. And today's class is about that, about timing, when we should do something, when we should say something, so we don't miss bad timing. We'll be talking about feedback, how to give it, what makes feedback good and useful. And we will be also seeing a little activity, a little game that I appropriated from the TV show called Community. So team, let's go and see what we've got. First off, I want to start off with a little video of a speaker, Simon Sinek. You might know him. And I really like this. I saw this video a couple of years ago and it appeared again on my feed. And I think it is relevant about delayed honesty. So, first up, take a look. It's less than 2 minutes. And do you agree with what he says about delayed honesty? Let me know. And question number two, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at giving feedback? How could you improve it? Just 10%. Our main activity, activity number two, so bad they're good. Have you ever seen something, such a train wreck that you just shake your head, but you can't stop smiling? You know, it's so bad that it's actually good. And I know I might get some heat for this, but I think Chaves might be like that. We have Chiririca here in Brazil. I think he was successful because he was just so awful. But 80s movies, there's some cartoons, some horror movies, and Napoleon Dynamite, this movie in the picture. But your activity this week is to watch something so bad that you can make fun of it and enjoy it. And this is the scene, the original scene that I took this
Hey guys.
activity from.
Hola.
Hey, I hope you don't mind. I invited Senior
Great
Ching. We're
TV
Netflix
show if you
friends.
haven't
Oh,
seen
that's
it,
cool that you're hanging out.
where
Drinking
they
beers
would
with your
get the gang
students.
together
Yeah, clear.
to watch some bad, made up movies in this case and make fun of them. So, team, that is our second activity. Take one of these scenes. I picked some awful scenes. Twilight, sorry guys, I know there's a lot of Twilight fans out there, but it is not the most well written movie. I don't know about the book, but some of the dialogue is definitely um, second tier. We have Napoleon Dynamite, which became a cult classic because it's so cringe-tastic. It's probably one of the cringiest movies I've ever seen. Pilates 786, I had never heard of it, but it is a Bollywood action movie that I think is good for this activity. Samurai Cop, maybe the worst of the worst. I saw a piece of it and I could not stop shaking my head. But what is the activity? To try to make some jokes about these scenes. This is difficult. And why are we doing this? Because if you feel comfortable, interjecting, adding these comments at moments inside of a movie where there's no pressure, you will feel more comfortable when real life offers you an opportunity that you need to say something at the right time. Because the same way that sometimes we need to delay what we're saying, sometimes what we have to say needs to be now for it to make sense. And let me see. Have you ever seen something so bad it was good? I think Napoleon Dynamite. That's my pick. It's the first movie I thought of. It's awful, but it's an amazing type of awful. I like Godzilla too. Patricia thinks it's for kids, but I've always loved seeing Godzilla destroy stuff. So maybe Godzilla as well. And what series has good scenes for this activity? It's it's a difficult series sometimes for English learners, but South Park might be a good option as well. And our skill focus this week is about giving feedback. And the way I did this with my students was, first of all, I want to know what you guys understand as good, useful feedback, because different corporate environments, outside the corporate environment as well. I have a daughter, and she's 4 years old, and we need to give kids constant feedback. A lot of it is more, don't do that. Are you crazy? But we need to explain stuff to them, and it's not just reserved for the corporate world. And I study a little bit. I like to bring my own tips, and these are mine. Number one, the goal of feedback should be to provide a possible next step. If not, you're just complaining. So there needs to be something that can be done after, tomorrow. Number two, one is the magic number. I know that some businesses, they have those specific moments of more denser feedback. That might be different. But in general, stick to number one. Why? Because when you start listing things that are wrong, it's usually going to become a fight. So I think feedback needs to be directed towards one thing. And number three, this is something that parents may have experienced. Sometimes you're just trying to reinforce it. Good, great, but they hear your voice. They know when you're not really paying attention. So when you're giving negative feedback, try to keep it level and unemotional. But whoa, that was amazing. I love this. Can you explain your drawing to me? Add emotion to positive feedback. I think it's a good rule of thumb. Those are my tips. So I'm not going to answer number five, but you should let someone know you are going to give feedback. This was a polemic question, and it's about a 50-50 because I know some companies structure a day for this, but if you just say, oh, we need to talk later, or yeah, I need to give you some feedback on Friday and it's Monday, the person might be a little bit worried until then. So I think you need to have emotional intelligence to know how you deliver this message. If it's something in the moment, maybe it's better to be direct. And if you are going to be giving feedback at a later time, maybe already preface it by saying what it's going to be about. Never send a message, we need to talk. Sounds horrible. And our talking point this week, timing. Super important. You see athletes, some of them have the most amazing timing on the planet. And a lot of the things that we do say, they're appropriate for certain times, but they're not in others. And let me see. An example of a product that was released at the perfect moment. I guess the iPhone, maybe ChatGPT with OpenAI, because most people who are not really that familiar with AI. They just think of ChatGPT when they think of AI. So it's a good example. They won the market. How timing is important in your favorite sport, hobby, or activity. I saw this video about Mario Kart. If you want to see some perfect timing, click there. Have you ever had a right place, right time moment? Well, I guess I got lucky when I met Patricia. I was walking my dog. She was walking her dog. One of us could have been 5 minutes late. Maybe we would not have met. So I guess that was the right place, right time. That's my pick. And which of your friends has good timing? Can you give an example of a joke of theirs? I have a lot of friends who have good comedic timing. Most of their jokes are inappropriate and cannot be shared here, but I have a couple that I thought of. And your challenge, team. Think of your back in your teenage years when you get the friends together to watch a movie. That's your challenge. Pick a movie, an awful movie, a nostalgic movie from your childhood. Get some popcorn. Crack a beer if you think it's appropriate, and riff on it, which would be to kind of make fun of it, poke some holes in this movie's production. I know it sounds mean, but it is some excellent English practice. So grab a buddy, grab a questionable movie, and make some jokes. What horrible movie would you like to watch again? From doing this class, I want to watch Napoleon Dynamite again. That's my pick. And I picked it because I watched it when I was a teenager and I thought it was hilarious. And then after a while, I realized that it was not that funny. But now I'm kind of returning on the other side to enjoy it again. So that's my pick. Team, we have some vocab. Timing, not an easy word to translate into Portuguese, but about knowing when to do something. To riff on, to kind of to joke about something in an kind of in an improv way. Something that is snappy, it's quick, it's clever, and cheesy, kind of the opposite, kind of lame, not so cool. All right, team, that's it. Thank you. We'll be back next week, and I hope to see you in class.